very difficult time understanding liquidity and illiquidity, and not just in the regular market, but more specifically how it's affecting our stellar assets. And so they have done a tremendous job putting together all these different presentations. They've passed it by Nick, who's leading the charge on this, the expert in the financial field. And so this is actually a combination of some of the top presentations that we've seen in the alt team. I want to also make a note, especially on market cap, because especially since we're on this page that mentions market cap on there, when it comes to the stellar assets, because the actual liquidity has not moved into our version, right? Because there's two main versions. There's what we see on like the normal, let's call it the retail side of the stellar dex. And then there's also the NDA side that we can't see because we're not under NDA. We're not those like the banks or the organizations coming in, and that's on the Stellar Core Anchor platform that I've mentioned many, many times. So if you don't understand, guys, that there is an NDA version of the Stellar Dex, that's because you haven't done the research on it. So please, please go back, keyword search Stellar Core Anchor platform, because we have numerous posts and several videos on that one topic alone. Market cap notion. Right now, the version that we see is literally just whatever the price of it is times however many tokens there are, which is obviously not true. There's obviously not a bajillion dollars of market cap on these actual assets. So that's why it can get very confusing, because what the cockroaches are doing is they're using that to say, oh, this stuff is clearly fake because we don't have $10 bajillion in it. We have like $1 in it. And that's how they're justifying it to people who are not aware of what's going on. So it's really important to not only understand the definition of all these terms that the team is presenting, but more importantly, why it is or is not reflecting on the DEX just yet. Okay, does anybody...
Let me add one thing to that, okay? Just because also a price is down temporarily, that doesn't mean that's where it's going to end up at the end of the day. So, just because, the argument is that, oh, look, we put money into it and they're down and, and they've come off in value. That means nothing to the extent of the full investment. So, it could be just like, Bitcoin was in pennies at the time. You could have looked at it and said, oh, look at this. This thing is horrible and it's not doing anything. And then it went to 60,000. So you don't want to look at where you are currently as your end result potentially to what is going to be. And Emily and I have many times emphasized hidden liquidity, like we did a partial presentation with SGB where you don't see it. You may not see it as just looking from a regular investor standpoint, whereas we saw and noticed that there was quadrillions of dollars being committed and nobody even knew. So just bear that in mind, that where you are now doesn't mean that that's your end destination when it comes to all of these investments.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. The end destination he's referring to is when the white hats finally merge the version that's on the Anchor platform, so the Stellar Core Anchor platform, over with the version that we're seeing, which will